Hey guys, Jaden and Riley, welcome to Tweak Talk, episode number 8. Now we missed a week, we apologise for that.
That was my fault.
Just life got in the way. So,
Uni exams.
yeah, craziness. So we're going to work out a way that we can make sure we build this into a weekly routine. Hey, so
Yeah.
we're working on it. So bear with us, and thank you for doing so. Today, I thought what we'd do is talk about the way Riley and I plan to set our life up, and the way we sort of go around things.
Yeah.
It's interesting to do it on a day like today, because today's our normal recording day, and today we both have bags under our eyes, and our lifestyle at the moment is not exactly the way we have planned it. But we thought we'd share with you a little bit about what we're doing and how we're doing it and why we're doing it, to, I suppose, give a little context as to what we're doing here. So our biggest thing, I suppose, is to try and create a life by design, exactly what it is we want to do, where we want to be, and achieving the things that we want to achieve. I think one of the things that you don't learn in school is that you can have a lifestyle that is not go to work in the morning, 9 till 5, come home, do the same routine day in, day out. There's nothing wrong with that. It's never explained that there's other options.
And I think the enjoyment, like
Yeah.
there's such a stigma around saying, oh, I've got to go to work. Like,
Yep.
oh, I can't wait for Friday. I can't
Yep.
wait for the weekend. Like,
Yeah, 100%.
you don't want to be living for the weekend, You
Well,
want
you don't
to
want to.
live, well, we don't.
Yeah, that's not our thing.
We
hey?
want to live every day. We
Yep.
want to love what we're doing every day. So,
Yep. We've had this conversation many times, is that our favourite time of the year is the 3 weeks that we have off over Christmas, or 2 weeks, whatever it is.
Yeah.
That's like our favourite time of the year. And we just had this conversation one day, like, what the fuck are we doing if we spend the other 49 weeks of the year doing not exactly what it is that we want to do,
Yeah.
and spending 3 weeks of the year doing what we enjoy, which is craziness. And Riley and I both get a significant amount of satisfaction out of our work. It's not even like we don't like our work.
yeah, we love it.
It's just the way in which our lifestyle is set up. That,
Around it.
correct.
Yeah.
That can become difficult, and that was one of the key drivers, I think, to us selling the gym in Ingham and,
Yeah.
and moving to Brisbane and doing those things, because we needed
It was
to
just
make that change.
Yeah, it was consuming us. It consumed us 7 days a week. Everyone sort of has the weekend to sort of recover or whatever. But with having those two businesses plus other businesses on the sideline, and yeah, just with everything else that I guess goes on with life, it was just consuming.
Yeah.
And they were big hours too. So like in the fitness industry, our gyms are 24-hour, and our main opening hours were that 2 till 7 p.m. period. So we positioned ourselves halfway in Cardwell between Ingham and Tully, but there's still a half an hour drive either way for both of us, which meant, that's over an hour of driving a day, because sometimes I'd come in the mornings for classes and then go back home, do what I had to do at home, and then come back in for the afternoon shift for classes and stuff as well. And it was just full on. Hey.
Yep.
Ingham was a lot more full on. I was more based here in Tully. Jaden was more in Ingham.
Yep.
It had a lot more services involved down there, so you're a lot more full on down there. Hey, big
Yeah.
hours.
The thing, I suppose, is just that we got to a point where we were doing that thing that we never set out to do.
Yeah.
That wake up in the morning, work all day.
The hamster wheel.
Yeah, exactly. Hey,
Yeah.
get home, cook dinner, fucking don't even talk to each other, shower, bed, start again the
Yeah.
next day. Hey, almost
Yeah.
like that. Hey.
Yeah.
So although we
We're lucky we're really good communicators.
Yeah.
And we have a really strong relationship, because
yeah.
that stuff, it's
difficult.
draining. It's draining on your health, and it's draining on your relationships around you. So
And I think we were in a good position. Like we
Yeah.
were in charge, so it's not like we had the boss to keep happy, like many people do, perhaps that are watching this. But it was not the way we wanted our life to be. So we started. We sat here one night, remember? So we decided, it was like we closed the gym at 7 o'clock. Our eyes were hanging out of our head, and we were like, we got to change this.
Yeah, we had enough.
And then we made a decision. So that's when we moved to Brisbane. I know we've spoken about moving to Brisbane before, but we wanted to sort of talk around some of the reasons that we chose to do that, and to sort of highlight and bring to your attention. One of the things that we wanted to do was create a new start, like force ourselves to get out of the routine that we're in, because it would have been impossible for us to move to Brisbane and keep the same routine. We just couldn't. We couldn't work in the business anymore, not the way we were, and we just forced ourselves to have a new routine. And I think that was part of the attraction from moving far enough away from the businesses that we couldn't, even if the world fell over, couldn't get there the next day. And that was, I think, a really important decision. So that was one of the big drivers.
I think before you say that, like, we also had to do a lot of work to deprogram our minds as well, in a sense that, you know, you can run a business from afar. And we had that many people tell us, like, what the F are you doing? Hey.
Yep.
Like,
hold the phone, don't get too into business stuff, because I've got a criteria here.
I'm sorry. But there was a lot of mental preparation in being able to get down there as well.
Yeah, 100%. Both on a personal level and a business level. Hey, it's making the decision to do it.
And putting everything in place to
take the action and to actually do it.
Keep going with your schedule.
That's right. So one of the things that Riley and I both were looking for was the cooler weather. It's hot here. And you know, one of the things that you don't, this is another thing that sort of no one teaches you at school, is that you have the decision when you're an adult to take actions to suit your life. And you know, you say to people that, you know, one of the driving forces behind us moving is that is the weather. And people look at you like, are you taking the piss? I'm like, no, it's 48 degrees here.
And 100%
humidity. So we didn't want that. So we moved to a place where it wasn't that. Now it still gets hot, but nowhere near.
Yeah, the humidity is eliminated, so the heat is quite different. But it was also from a health perspective, especially for me. Like, Jaden hated it too, and we just we don't feel good in this heat. But from a health perspective with me, it doesn't agree with how my body works.
Doesn't it?
No. And I really, really, really struggle in summer. I do everything that I possibly can to help my body function, but it just, like, I feel like it just ages me. Like, I struggle.
Yep.
Yeah.
So that was a big thing. We also wanted to get away from, so the more we're sort of talking to Riley's holistic doctors, one of the key things that just about every single one of them has brought up is mold. Just about every single one of them. No matter how clean you keep your house, if you live up here, you've got mold somewhere. I don't want to get on like the mold train, but
I do one day.
Yeah, one day we will talk all about mold, and then also talk about how you get rid of mold using bleach, and it's just a whole. We should actually do that. Maybe we should do a whole.
It's a really important one. Mold is equivalent, if not more toxic than asbestos.
That's what they say is going to be the next asbestos.
Yep.
Asbestosis.
Yep.
That's what they're saying.
Yep. So there's been 1,000 studies been done on it. Definitely go listen to some podcasts about it. If you live in this area, it would be very beneficial for you to educate yourself in that area.
Yep. The ATP guys have done a few, I think, podcasts on mold.
Dr. Stephen Cabral is another really cool podcast that he does a lot of work on it.
Yep.
And there's one more. My doctor in America, Dr. Justin Marcagiani. It's a very long name.
What's his podcast? Is it just his name?
Yeah, it's Justin Health.
Good luck
Justin
with that.
Health. It's on YouTube though, so he does a lot of podcasts
YouTube videos.
As a YouTube video on mold toxicity and how to recognise how you may have mold toxicity, which is actually scary because, you know, a lot of symptoms that people, even clients, I'm like, oh my God, like you just recognise it straight away once you're educated. So
worth checking out.
Worth checking out. Definitely get on that.
100%. So the mold exposure was one of the things, the cooler weather was one of the things, also being closer to therapy. So right now I've got a really specific idea around health and longevity. We both want to live a long, healthy life. So there's certain things that we would like to do with our bodies on a regular basis that are just really hard to do here. So for Riley's doctor's appointments, we were going to Brisbane and Melbourne on a regular basis. So
every 3 to 6 months, or 6 months it would be, that was just doable.
Yeah, depending on what we had going on and what the world was doing. But, it made what was a 1 hour appointment or a 2 hour appointment or a 4 hour appointment, whatever it was, into a week.
An ordeal.
Yeah, an hour car or an hour and a half car drive, an hour and a half plane trip, then a trip to the hotel, and you're staying in a hotel, and all this stuff.
Every time I go to the doctor, I need to get a test called a Thyroflex. So that is a specific test that tests how much thyroid hormone is in the tissues of the body, so within all your cells. It's the most on-point test that you can get for thyroid. But that result would be skewered every single time I would go there because we'd be absolutely ratchet from fucking travelling. Because we'd have to work around the gym, so we'd either travel really late at night or really early in the morning. And by the time I'd get to my appointment, I was just absolutely zonked. Or I'd have to, leave a day for me to sort of rest up and recover so I could have a test that actually showed a result that wasn't skewered because I was exhausted. So,
yeah, 100%. So that was one of the things. Also, we've been able to do see a natural dentist. We've been able to, there's places down there. One of the places we were going, has health food store, holistic cafe, organic
nursery,
butcher. All those
dentist,
types of things that we find.
all in one place.
All organic, all natural products. That sort of stuff is really exciting to us, and it just opens our eyes to what possibilities are out there business-wise, and it also makes us feel like we're getting closer towards the spot that we want to be, and being as healthy as possible. So I think there's a number of contributing factors.
Yeah, well, we've always had like a real keen eye to like start a business that involves multiple services, multiple health services. So when you can be in that space that really lights you up, it's really fun. We love it, hey, and we love like exploring and finding new places that one day we want to create. So
I think that
really
was
inspirational.
Yeah, and that's one of the parts of moving to a new location as well. Is before moving to Brisbane, I'd never really spent any significant time there, like a week here and there maybe for sport or whatever, but never explored the city or explored the suburbs or the beaches, that sort of thing. It's a good thing. It was a really good thing for our head as well. Like every weekend we would go and find something new somewhere. And like coming from up here, we've obviously spent our whole lives here. So there's things that we haven't seen, and there's things that are beautiful that maybe we don't appreciate up here just simply because we've been here our whole life and we've seen them 10 times, you know what I mean? So exploring a new place is just like you're seeing things for the first time every time. And just engages the brain differently, gives you a different feeling, inspires, creates some inspiration. And just the convenience. Like the convenience is amazing. Like I don't live a simple life when it comes to supplementation and medication, so I need to have access to that. In Brisbane, I can get my medication from America in 2 weeks, when normally here I wait up to 6 or 7 weeks. So it literally comes straight out of customs in
in Brisbane, and I have it at my front door, whereas here I don't know what it is, but I wait forever. And it's a first world problem, I know.
Yep.
But it's just annoying. And just, access to supplementation that normally I'd have to purchase online living here.
Yep.
But I have it right there in Brisbane, and it's really easy.
Yep.
And so many other things too,
I think the biggest thing
services and stuff.
that we're trying to get across is just the way in which we
It's
want
first
to
world
formulate.
stuff,
Yeah.
but it's just something that it's our lifestyle that that we want to.
Right, and it's a choice that we can make to change.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what we wanted to do. We wanted to be able to set up our day the way that we wanted it to, structure it in a way that we wanted it to, not be governed by a specific set of hours and times and requirements and needing to be and do certain things. And it was a really good test for us business-wise as well, because
hugely.
everyone said, as you were saying,
it's not going to work.
Yep, you definitely can't run a business if you're not there, which is a thing that I just wholeheartedly reject, 100%. But it does force us, and it did force us to grow and stretch and change the way we did things and went about things. And so we had some significant growth around that as well.
And I think, obviously I went down there, Jaden decided that he wanted to get into some home training and a different style of training, whereas I still really loved the gym, so I got to join a gym. And we also tested out a few other different gyms. It was really nice being on the other side of the counter. But also getting new ideas, fresh ideas in that aspect as well to bring back here, I think was really quite cool.
Yeah.
And just touching quickly on what you said before, on being grateful for what we have here in North Queensland. Like, we would fly home and I would drive into town to come here to work or whatever, and I'd find myself looking up at the mountains and looking up at different things that I would never normally do when we lived here.
Yeah.
And just feeling so grateful and just looking at it in awe, what a beautiful place that we got brought up in.
Yeah.
This is so pretty here. But because we were so on that hamster wheel, this is all we knew.
Yeah.
It took we just didn't appreciate it. Whereas
100%. The thing is, the problem is not with here.
No,
the problem was with us.
Yeah.
That's 100% what it is. Hey, and it
100%.
was that we acknowledged that and said, all right, let's do something.
Let's do something
so
to change
we got
perspective.
Yeah, and that's exactly what we did, and enjoyed then where we were living even more, and then enjoyed being back here even more.
And even working in the business even more. We really have a whole new appreciation for our business, and we're so we've always been grateful for what we have here in the little community that we've built here. But it's a whole new perspective. It's hard to explain.
Yep. Yeah, and that sort of set us on a path which, business-wise, I've always sort of been striving for, and this is something that we've sort of learned together. Hey, is to create a business where we can serve and help more people on a regular basis. Sorry, guys. Serve and help more people on a regular basis, and I think we're limited by doing that in a physical location. So you can see the movement through the coronavirus to doing things online and doing things virtually, and I think that will be a significant part of the future for us. Hey, we'll always have a physical location here, but our ability to communicate and operate in a digital space has been heightened, and that's something that we learned in our time away, because we want to try and help as many people as we can, and these are some of the things that we've been working on over the time that we've been away and not being able to actually be physically here, which I think is really important, and just put that into context for us. Hey.
100%.
Yeah, I think that's a big part about our life by design is having that ability and flexibility to say, all right, we're going to go away for a week and know that you've got an income that supports you being away for a week, the freedom to be able to take that action and go away for a week and or to do whatever it is that you want to do. And this is something that Riley and I have spoken about for our life going forward. They're the freedoms that we want to have and implement, whilst having satisfaction in our work, whilst having a good home life and being able to have that balance. And these are things I think that challenge the everyday perspective and the everyday routine, because the conversation's just not had. It's just not it's just not even an option that you wouldn't go to work. I think.
It is. It's true. Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. So these are the things that we're challenging, and we definitely have not worked them out.
No.
Definitely have not worked them out. Look at the bags, so we're still in the process where we're working through that, but that's something that we're committed to, because we feel that it's worth it. You only get one go at this thing that we're doing. Hey, we're striving to create this ideal environment where we can be satisfied in our work, do work that actually helps people. And have it set up in a way where we have just about as much freedom as we want to within our own lives.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
Totally agree.
I think the thing that we're talking about here, this is one of the things that one of the things that's relevant with this whole work thing and not being told that you can have an option other than go out there and work. Because if you don't go out there and work, you're whatever lazy or whatever the term is. But we've been, I suppose, programmed in a way ever since forever. Like you can't have your cake and eat it too. That's exactly what we're trying to do. That's exactly what we're trying to do. Have our cake and eat it too. Be financially stable to be able to move and go and do as we please and have the things that we need to, that we find important in our life. And what that is for Riley and I is maybe not so much material things, but the ability to have a massage every week, or to cryo every week, or to do those, or to eat organic foods. Hey,
do the things that serve you.
Your health, mentally and physically. So these are key things for us that are of utmost importance, and the things that we strive towards.
And I think that's why we operate a business too that facilitates that for other people. Because it's something that we're striving for, and it's something that we want our clients to experience as well. So I guess that's why we're making this video, because it's definitely not like we're making a video to explain our situation, and it's not about us or anything like that, but it's just changing your perspective, I guess, on what you have and what you're doing, and then making little changes that serve you and your family for the better. So both mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually. So
the thing that I would like people to watch this video and come away with is that you can make those decisions if that's what it is that you want to do. You can make those changes if that's what's important to you.
Yeah, exactly. And they're not going to be easy. Like moving to Brisbane was the best and the hardest thing. Like Jaden, not so much, but for me it was really hard because I've never been physically that far away from my family. Like we're both extremely close to our families, and that was one part that I really struggled with at first, was being so far away from my family, and not being able to just ring mum and say, hey, do you want to go have a coffee really quickly? Like, well, because that's what I would do here. I would ring her between clients or whatever and say, hey, let's go grab a quick coffee and have a chat or whatever, or see our little niece, or just hang out with our siblings or whatever. So it was just
for
it
me
was something that was hard. And even like certain things like around the business as well, like there were little things that we had to sort of tweak, pardon the pun, to be able to allow things to run a little bit smoothly. But
100%,
like there's going to be hard times. Sorry.
It wasn't smooth,
No.
and it wasn't easy, but I think for me, I was more present living in Brisbane than what I was here.
Yeah.
I spent more quality time with family and friends when we were living in Brisbane, whether it was over the phone or whether we came back here, because
you had the
because-
space and time.
yeah, I never started the business with the idea of balance in my head. That was actually the exact opposite of what I started with. My commitment was 100% to the business.
Yeah.
100% to the business.
Yeah.
And I had no intention of creating balance in my life.
No.
And
Well,
I think that worked
initially.
really well initially.
Yeah.
But we've got to a point now where we don't want to do that 100%. When our clients get our attention, they get 100% of our attention, but 100% of our time is not focused on the business, and I don't think it needs to be, and I don't think that it should be for what we are trying to get from life. And that was one of the things that we've learnt, and I think I've learnt in particular while we were away in Brisbane, is that that there's other things out there, and that I don't have to be concerned about my clients 24 hours a day, consumed by them, if I'm applying myself 100% to them during the time that I'm with them.
Yeah.
So I was coaching people from Brisbane, I think doing a better job from there than I probably was prior to that, sitting with them face to face, because I just didn't have that balance in my own head to say, hey dude, you just need a minute for yourself. And that was, I think, one of the biggest things that we took from this, hey?
Yeah.
So I feel like now at the moment, being back here as a result of the whole coronavirus thing, not some alarm bells, but some cautions going off within us that we need to be very wary of, because it's a really simple thing, I think, to slide back into, that working 7 days a week, being 100% consumed with what's going on, being on all the time, business-wise. And that's something that, while the business loves it, and the business will take up all of that time if you allow it, it's just not what we want, hey, and it's not think,
healthy.
beneficial for us.
No.
Yeah, 100%.
No.
So I think they were the key things that we wanted to get across. Hopefully we did that. I don't know, did we do that?
I hope we delivered it in the right way. It's definitely not coming from a place of like selfishness or anything like that. It's just how it is, and sort of how we have. It's like our outlook on life, really.
Yeah, I think it is, and maybe if you're out there watching this and you're not doing the things that you want to do or experiencing the things that you want to, the biggest thing is that there's a way to do it, and this is one of the things that I've always looked to. We've had this conversation before. Hey, how will the business run if we're not here? And I'm like, you ever seen Richard Branson on a Virgin plane before? Like, never. That dude owns the thing, and he's not got nothing to do with it. Now, I'm not saying that we're fucking Virgin and Richard Branson, goddamn. But there are templates out there where people are doing it. If your thing is to be traveling around the world and vlogging, people actually do that, eh?
Yeah.
They get paid to do it. Their job is to travel and report on the hotel they're staying in.
Yep.
The world is just not the same as what it used to.
No.
It used to be,
The opportunities are endless. It really is. My brother and his girlfriend are currently traveling around the Northern Territory, which I think is like
really
so
cool,
inspiring. And he's had a fair bit of judgment put on him as far as like being out there and people not knowing him. This is just an example. And he's worked really hard they both have for the past couple of years to make this happen. If they didn't know it was going to happen with COVID hanging around, but they did manage to be able to trip off. But he's worked really hard on his car and setting everything up and blah blah blah. And first thing they said to him was like, "Oh, what did they say? You're a minor or you've won the lotto," just by judging, their rig and stuff. But no, he just worked really hard for it and just, made that step to go, nah, we're taking off, we're going, we're doing it, and, the rest is history. But
yeah, that's it.
It's just taking that step, hey?
Yeah, making the step and just deciding that you're doing it because that's what you want to do.
That's what you want to do,
Not for someone else or other reasons.
Yeah.
It's like, this is the action that I'm going to take because it's best for me and my family or whatever the case may be for you.
Yeah, and I think changing your perspective is another really big one. Hey, like
Yep.
just, and I think making those changes like what we did allows your perspective to then change.
Well, 100%, because you can just see opportunity in things that you never would have before.
Yep.
You know, just being able to see things for the first time on a regular basis.
Yeah.
It's hard to grow up here where we have, work here as we have, and then to look at something that you've seen several times and see it in a different light. You know.
Yeah, well, that's
When
another thing. You know, when we moved to Brisbane, we actually had this business on the market as well.
Yeah.
You know, being down there for a few months, we took that thing off.
Yeah.
Because we were like, no, you know.
Yeah, just change our perspective on it.
'Cause,
eh?
you know,
And-
we initially thought like we're going to get out of this
Yeah.
completely, but yeah, after having some time and being able to see things from a different perspective.
Yeah, it just reinvigorates the. We just were reinvigorated. Hey,
Yeah.
just excited again, and
Yep.
and got to a point where we felt like we could do more again, which we were not at, just
Yep.
because a change of perspective, change of scenery, and that's something that we want to get across to you. Is if you're out there and you're thinking that you can't do something or you shouldn't do something, or oh, what about take action, start doing it, because I think it's everything can be done.
Yep.
And I think the positives that you'll pull from it, you won't even begin to be able to fathom until you're there.
Yep. 100%.
Cool.
Probably wrap that up now.
Yep, that's it. Cool. I hope you take something from that. I
Yeah.
hope we could put something together that was actually usable for you guys. That's it for us for today, guys. Have a great day wherever you are, and we look forward to seeing you in the next one.
Next week, yeah.
Take care, guys.
Bye.